Hi, my name is Jared, and this is Horror Obsession. Today, I want to talk about episodes 3 and 4 of The Last of Us. In my last video, I expressed some concerns about the show, specifically the writing and acting of Ellie, while praising the rest of the production. So did the show turn it around, or is it still making the same mistakes? First, there are going to be spoilers in this review. I don't feel like I can talk intelligently about the show without spoiling stuff, so get over it. Alright, so first let's talk about episode 3, which featured a mostly self-contained story about Bill, played by the wonderful Nick Offerman, and Frank, played by Murray Bartlett, who also shined in White Lotus Season 1. Bill and Frank are living their best life during the fungus zombie apocalypse, doing much more than just surviving, but truly thriving. They are fully self-sustained, and the show takes the time to show Bill turning on the gas so he can use his stove, using a generator for electricity, and how he has running water, plus showing the perimeter defenses he uses to keep himself safe from zombies. He has home-cooked meals, and a wine cellar, and overall his life is about as good as you could possibly imagine for someone living in a post-apocalyptic zombie nightmare world. What he doesn't realize he is missing, at first, is companionship. And along comes Frank, who literally stumbles into his life. Bill and Frank fall in love, and the show does an incredible job showing the progression of their relationship over time, and the show is at its absolute best for the entire duration of their love story. It is so well acted, and Nick Offerman and Murray Bartlett really deliver powerful performances. The writing is great, with good pacing and an interesting story to tell. There is a huge emotional payoff, and as a self-contained story, episode 3 is one of the best episodes of television I have ever seen. I have read complaints that the episode doesn't move the plot forward, and this is true. Yes, I understand Bill's character arc is meant to parallel Joel's, and Bill's letter is meant to catalyze Joel to realize his purpose in life is to protect others, and he has already failed his daughter and Tess, so now he must protect Ellie. I watched the episode. I get it. But all of that is character development, not plot progression. Every scene in a script should either move the plot forward or further develop the characters. Episode 3 absolutely develops the characters and gives us a much deeper understanding of Joel, but it doesn't really progress the plot. I haven't played the games, so I didn't realize Joel had been with Tess for so long. We see them having dinner with Bill and Frank several years prior, so apparently Joel and Tess have been together for a very long time, which was news to me. And as I mentioned, Joel finding Bill and Frank is a critical turning point for Joel's character. And so the episode wasn't wasted screen time. There is a lot of forward character development. I do wish they found a way to move the story forward a bit more while developing the characters, but this is a minor complaint, and overall the episode was one of the more enjoyable hours of television I've seen. This is a bit of a problem, however, because I fear one of the reasons I really enjoyed it so much is specifically because it didn't have very much to do with the main cast. Getting a break from Ellie's incessant, abrasive personality, instead getting to spend time with new characters is really what makes the episode so great. Watching two people realistically respond to their circumstances and develop emotionally based on the events that transpire stands in very sharp contrast to Ellie, who never seems to develop as a character at all. This is on full display in the parts of episode 3 she is in, and again in episode 4. At the beginning of 3, literally right after Tess has died, Ellie is making jokes and teasing Joel for not being a good shot.
Because you suck at shooting, or like in general?
This was a perfect time for some compassion. I mean, Joel's lover of like 10 years just died a horrible death. And instead of even saying she is sorry or being a normal human person, she gets angry at Joel and defensive and basically yells at him that it wasn't her fault and then reverts right back to acting like she knows she's the main character of the story.
Look, I've been thinking about...
I don't want your sorries.
I wasn't going to say I'm sorry. I was going to say that I've been thinking about what happened. Nobody made you or Tess take me. Nobody made you go along with this plan. You needed a truck battery or whatever, and you made a choice. So don't blame me for something that isn't my fault.
I feel this is a major flaw in her writing and her performance, which is she knows she's going to be the most important character in the story and acts that way. She acts as if she's already gone through her character arc and traveled back in time and is now casually reliving the events of the story. Her attitude towards everything is dismissive beyond any rational point for a human person living in fungus zombie world. This is a broader criticism I have of the show in general, which is that the zombies don't really seem to play a huge role in the world at all. We see a couple societies set up in major cities, mostly run by what seems like a government of maybe 100 people, some poorly maintained military equipment. I can't help but wonder how the fungus zombies took over the world in the first place if all it takes to keep a society of people safe is like 100 people with guns. I mean, the actual US military would have no problem maintaining order if these freaking guys can do it. The world of Last of Us doesn't seem scary, and the zombies seem more like a nuisance than a constant looming threat. All of the zombie worlds I enjoy the most are fun and interesting specifically because everything is about surviving the zombies. In The Last of Us Episode 4, Joel and Ellie sleep outside in sleeping bags in the forest because, according to them, they are too far out of the city for the fungus zombies.
Because infected will see the smoke.
No, fungus isn't that smart. This is too remote for infected anyway.
So, does that mean everyone who lives outside the cities survived the apocalypse just fine? I mean, the zombies don't go out there, so I guess they would have been fine, right? How can you know they won't wander there? That seems exceedingly reckless. It isn't like they have a psychological profile of how a fungus zombie brain works. This line is included to try and explain why a seemingly smart person like Joel would dismiss the one thing about this world that makes it compelling, the fact that there are fungus zombies at all. But the line actually raises more questions than it answers and makes the fact an apocalypse happened at all seem absurd.
The American Army has a total of 2,260,000 military personnel. Of these, 1,400,000 are active and 860,000 are reserve personnel.
And 28 days later, the fast zombies are everywhere, and they've killed almost everyone. They escape to a military compound in the countryside, full of soldiers and tripwire and other traps, but once a single zombie gets inside, it straight up kills everyone. The zombies are always a threat, the ever-present horrific truth of the world that warps every person in it. In The Last of Us, I guess all you have to do is leave the city and you're good.
This is too remote for infected anyway.
Later in episode 4, the leader of some city militia refuses to do anything about a clear fungus infection spreading inside one of the buildings because she has a personal vendetta against someone which she finds more important. Presumably, this will bite her in the ass and the infection will spread and make fungus zombies, but the way she is so dismissive of it and basically just tells the dude to lock up the building really undermines the tension of the show. When the reaction to finding the infection is, "Oh, what's that? There's zombies sprouting out of the ground here? Whatever, I'm kind of busy." It's hard to take the zombie threat seriously. This brings me along to my next point, which is that The Last of Us is trying to show that the real monsters are people, perhaps the most trite and overused theme of any monster movie or show. Oh, you see, King Kong isn't actually bad. The real monsters are humans. Oh no, zombies aren't that bad. The real monsters are people. Oh no, fungus zombies aren't a threat. The real monsters are people.
This is too remote for infected anyway.
People?
People are not perfect, and we are driven by emotion, but that doesn't change the fact people are better than fungus zombies. People have complicated motivations and do terrible things, but fungus zombies only do terrible things. I don't see fungus zombies creating art, or growing crops, or making love. I mean, hopefully we don't have to see that last one. The fungus tendrils in the mouth is already disturbing enough. Overall, episode 3 was great and one of my favorite episodes of television in a long time, but this is mostly because it felt like a short movie unrelated to the plot, which has been dragging. This is almost inevitable when you try to make 10 plus hours of content based on a video game, so I get it. I didn't even talk about Ellie's performance that much this week, though I think she's still the worst part of the show. She has gotten a little better, I guess, but I can't say I look forward to watching her performance in any given scene. She is still pretty wooden and struggles with expressing emotions effectively. The real issue I have with the show is the lack of using the amazing premise. The zombies have felt criminally underutilized so far, and I really hope it is just a slow build to some really cool fungus zombie stuff, because if I wanted a post-apocalyptic movie about an adult and a child traveling through a world full of despicable humans, I would watch The Road again, a movie I don't even really like. I'll keep my fingers crossed for more fungus zombies, more people getting eaten and societies overrun by monsters, and more unique zombie creature designs, because that is what I need to feed my insatiable horror obsession.